Hi everyone. Welcome to Plant-Powered Business Strategies, Grow Your Positive Impact. My name is Johanna and I'm here with my friend Brieanah.
Hey there.
All right, it's August 2024 and I'm definitely feeling the kind of back to school vibes. How about you, Brieanah, or are you still in summer mode?
I think I'm still in summer mode. It's very humid here in Virginia, and I feel like the humidity has gotten to my brain and it's just bogging everything down, slowing everything down. I don't know about you. I know you're like, sound like you're gearing up, but ooh, I am having trouble gearing up.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely still like slow. In my mind, I was also sick, but it's so hard to escape this because like where I'm from, like schools start around this time, kind of before mid-August. So it's just like so ingrained in my mind that okay, it's like time to get back to it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's still warm, which is nice. But yeah, on that note, since a lot of people are kind of in this position of like returning after the summer, like returning back to work after the summer or from some like time off, I was thinking that it would be a cool time to talk about like marketing mindset, or that's how I kind of like conceptualize it, like what I have in mind, kind of like are, at least for me, like the word mindset gets thrown around a lot, but at least for me, how I think about it is it's kind of like the attitudes and beliefs we have around like about ourselves and the world, and also like in this case marketing. And I really like geeking out on mindset stuff because it's just, yeah, the mind is so powerful. So I wanted to chat about that, and it kind of, yeah, hear your thoughts as well, because we've never talked too much about this or too much in depth. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. This is a good
Yeah,
topic. I'm
yeah.
excited.
I was thinking that we could talk about some like personal experiences and maybe share some like tools or strategies that have helped us, and kind of some mindset shifts that have happened for us like over the years. So
Yeah.
like I would be curious to hear about your story, like when it comes to like, well, marketing yourself or your own business, Brie. Like what are like what's been the hardest for you, or what have been some of the struggles? I've definitely had a lot, but I'd love to hear from
Well,
you.
I know one that we share, right? And it was showing up in the first
Yeah.
place. That's why we started this series. We wanted to show up on social media, and we wanted to get better on camera and get better about sharing our ideas so that we could help move the movement forward and help support people that are working in the movement and doing amazing things in the movement, but might not know how to package their messaging. And we had that knowledge. But I know back when we started this, you and I talked a lot about just the fear in starting to show up and the fear in putting ourselves out there. And I feel like that's a really common one. It feels silly almost that it is a common one with how popular social media is and how much people document their lives and share their vacation photos.
Yeah.
And like we live online so much that it feels silly almost, or weird that for when it comes to business, we're afraid to show up in that way when we're posting updates for friends and family all the time. That the mindset shifts there, and visibility becomes a scary thing to
Mm.
overcome when in our personal lives we're already being visible. But I know that was a big one for the two of us, so maybe we start
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. 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 I think that the great question there is like why, like what's the difference, like why is it when it's your business or work that it's so difficult to, that the like visibility is such a scary thing. Like I know for me, like I've talked about this before, is that it was kind of because like as an activist it was always about the animals and like their stories, and like they're the ones who should, where the spotlight should be on, not me. And somehow it felt like self-centered, I think, or like, I think that was kind of my biggest hurdle somehow, that, you know, as a, like, I don't know, empathetic, like heart-centered person, like you're taking too much space, or this is, yeah, the one that I had to overcome
Yeah.
to relate to that.
Yeah, oh, I totally relate to that. And I hear, because I work with nonprofits too. I know we mostly talk about businesses here, but especially with nonprofits, the founder will be like, "Oh, but it's not about me. I don't want to post about myself. You know, I don't want to say why I'm doing this or what my story is or what I did." Even if they just want an award that like matters for their organization, they don't want to talk about it because they don't want the spotlight on them. It's such a common thread. And I think too, perhaps when it comes to the business side of things, even in the nonprofit space too, because you're trying to be a leader of change, right? And in business, you're trying to make it. You're trying to prove to yourself that you can do it, that you can help more people with your product or service. You know, whatever your why is, you're trying to prove that you can succeed. So I feel like a lot of it comes down to imposter syndrome too.
Mm.
And so while like, yeah, I totally agree. Like I had those thoughts of it's not about me, like you and I are both here for the larger movement, but also I came from a totally different industry. And so then being a freelancer in a new industry and having to show up as an expert in order to talk to clients was like a whole nother ball game. I was used to being on a team of lawyers, right? And I
Mm.
went to law school. I had 3 years and the year for the bar exam. Like I had so much time to prepare to be a lawyer. Um, and it was less than a year of the pivot, just a few months. And then I was supposed to go do the thing. And it was it
Yeah.
was just a very, very different experience to just throw myself into it because as a copywriter, you learn by doing, right? As in most things, right? The more you write, the better you get. Especially when you're learning something new, people are always like, just practice, practice, practice. Repetition makes you better, experience makes you better. But when you're first starting out, there's so much imposter syndrome of how do I even get that first client to prove that I can do this and then get better while I do it for them, you know? So balancing that with not wanting it to be about you is like, what are we even doing? Yeah, it's a lot to overcome in mindset for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, when it comes to like social media, like I wasn't even really on Instagram or like LinkedIn so much, and Facebook I used for just for myself, like mostly like to stay up to date about like events and share some political stuff. So I feel like I had to really jump into the deep end, like starting to use social media, and then like for my business, and yeah, wasn't easy. I'm curious, like so many things again, like coming up. Like one thing I wanted to mention, that I think for a lot of us, I mean, you mentioned the imposter syndrome, and yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of us struggle with, and I think there's like a lot of these kind of like self-worth issues, and that's kind of like one manifestation of that somehow that we're not good enough, that we don't know enough, or that we don't deserve to take space, or I should say like because like this is at least how, like after like thinking about it a lot, like what's going on here is this, that think like, and it doesn't maybe even like matter how far it goes, but this, that you shouldn't take too much space, and which is even like it's just ridiculous because it's not like connected to to the reality. Like social media is there for anybody to take their own corner, and like um and kind of curate their social media like reality almost in whichever way you want. But for me, it's been also helpful to realize that I think there's like some deep kind of self-worth issues,
Yeah.
and I think everybody needs to understand that like your voice matters, like your story matters, and your experience, and it's just like it's enough that you are here. Like you don't need to
Yeah.
prove it in any other way. Um, yeah, but I was wondering, have there been any cases or like that like really helped you overcome any of the struggles like visibility or
Oh,
yeah, some tools or strategies?
goodness. There's so many along the way, and they were little shifts looking back, but they felt ginormous at the time. Um, just because every step when you're learning something new feels big and scary.
Mm,
But I think there's something to learn and take away for those listening in that is even if it's posting your first reel with your face on it and like that feels huge to you, do it. Like just try. And so when I was scared to put my face on social media and talk directly to the internet about what I was doing now, um someone in our coaching group that we're both a part of told me that social media is so saturated. No one's going to remember you stumbling over your words. No one's going to remember how many ums you said. No one's going to remember that your hair looked greasy. No one's going to remember, like, go down the list of things that we're self-centered and self-conscious about, right? Because we live with ourselves every day. So if our voice sounds weird that day, or if we said too many times, oh, I can't post that. It's that perfectionism in our head
mm,
of like, I have to put my best self out there. No one's going to remember it because
yeah,
just as we're like so centered on our own lives, so is everyone watching. So they're just scrolling social media. They see you. They're like, oh, that's cool. She posted a reel. Like, and then they go
yeah,
on with their lives. Like it's about just showing up, right? But we're like, oh, if we don't put this perfect version of myself on the internet, then it's all over. Like then that's why I didn't succeed. And not only is social media so oversaturated that no one's going to remember anyway when you mess up or that one thing that you're obsessing about that you wish you never posted, um, but also social media too, I've learned is more about authenticity. So those like super buttoned up, like straight to camera, I am Brieanah and I am a copywriter. I want you to be my client. Like those don't go anywhere. When I'm like
yeah,
out with the dogs, like throwing the
yeah,
ball for pie, those are the ones that get comments, right? Like
mm,
because people want to see people. Like if they are going to stop and they are going to take time out of living their own lives and being
mm,
obsessed with what's going on in their world, they want to see something that they identify with you.
yeah,
So like if I'm on social media and I'm new to veganism and I'm looking for recipes, like they want to see someone who like enjoys cooking this recipe. They don't want to see someone who's like and measure the cut perfectly and then make sure you stir thoroughly. Like no,
yeah,
they want, oh my gosh, this is going to taste so good. I've made this for my family, clean plates all around, like talking about the family experience, right? Like there's just a shift that happens in being authentic, letting them into your
mm,
world, that just comes through doing because you have to be comfortable with sharing that
yeah,
part of your life. And it's not something that came easily for me, but the more I did it and the more I saw what I was interested in on social media and like, okay, how can I kind of tap into that and recreate that and find that energy in myself? That's
yeah,
when it started a little easier. It's still not easy. Like the past couple months I haven't really posted anything with my face, like no reels really. And so I go through waves, and so I just want to normalize that. I'm not
mm,
going to say that like you'll get to the point where you want to share everything and it's going to be so easy all of the time. No, like, I did not want to show up on camera all summer. Like, I posted pictures that I took that I felt good about, but did I do my hair every day? No. Did I spend a day recording reels? No. But like, I'll go through those seasons where I do that content, right? So it's just about finding a path that works for you, a cadence that works for you, and then giving yourself permission to be like, you know what? It's not my journey right now. I don't feel like making reels right now, and that's okay. And that's okay.
Yeah, well, I love that. So much goodness right there. Apparently there's like a biological reason also for this, like that, or like that the best strategy is just to be you, that it's like it's so somehow deeply ingrained in like the human experience, that because like back in the day, at least I've come across this idea in many places, so that's why I'm saying it, that you know like our survival at a time, it depended on that we can read people, and like we're very good at like, you know, we have this like sense that if somebody's being themselves or pretending to be something they're not, and it's like it's yeah. So at least for me, like understanding this, because I have this very critical mind, I was like, ah, okay, interesting. Now there's this kind of proof behind it, like why I it's okay just to be you, or not curate like a perfect Instagram feed, or whatever, like always have your hair and makeup. Not, I mean, I never, okay, I fix my hair a little bit, but it's like,
Come on.
but yeah, like we relate to, you know, it's, yeah, we relate to each other as humans. So I just, yeah, it's like for me like a huge has been a huge relief to understand that um, that it's okay to chill.
Yeah.
So a very kind of practical tip I wanted to share, like something that really changed the game for me, was, I guess it's two years ago now. Like I had only posted like maybe 3 pictures of my dog in Instagram ever, and then I was like, I have to, like, and then I, you know, we, in the coaching program that we've had this like word of the year idea, where where we pick the word for the year and kind of use it as this kind of guiding light. And I had visibility, and I hadn't been, it was August or something, and I had barely been visible anywhere, and I was like damn, I have to, like, I have to challenge myself now. So I decided to do this like a 30-day social media challenge, and where I post every day, and I decided to post it in Instagram and on LinkedIn. And it was like the first, and I like announced it, I think in the first post, and kind of like trying to help people keep me accountable. And the first one, it was so hard. It was the first time that I put my face like in anywhere, I think, on social media. And I swear, like I felt nauseous after like like pushing the like publish button. Like it was so hard to put my face and like my thoughts out there for, I don't know, for people to judge or whatever. Like that's the funny thing, that right now I can't even remember anymore why it was so scary. And then like the next day it got easier and easier, and in a week, like I was like, what on earth was I so afraid of, like for years basically. So it was like a huge realization for me, like hugely empowering, and also the support I got from people, and also made some connections. Like I actually, people actually reach out to me that I didn't know in Instagram. So yeah, I think the lesson from this again is that, yeah, like doing the uncomfortable or scary things, like I'm not any one to tell anybody like what you have to do exactly. I think you just have to find it for yourself, like what kind of challenges you a little bit. Because I mean, at least for me, this has been my experience, that every time I do something that feels too scary, but that I can somehow just do it. It's just like when I feel like I grow the most or learn the most. So maybe that's something that somebody listening to this could use as inspiration. Maybe it sounds like
Yeah.
funny now that it was so. Why was it so scary? But it was very real. It's like, yeah.
No, I love that so much. And one thing I highly recommend if people do that challenge is to get some of your friends to do it with you.
Yeah.
Because I remember our first, or at least my first visibility challenge, it was part of the coaching group. So one of the coaches in that group challenged us to post, I think it was every day for a month or something like that. And then we created a Facebook chat and we would drop links to our posts when we posted them, and then we would all go like each other's. So even in the beginning, if it was just like other entrepreneurs in this one group liking each other's posts, it was still that validation of like, I posted it, someone else saw it, and then you're building that muscle. And you get the little hit of dopamine that someone liked it, even if the
Yeah.
very manufactured like it still reinforces that this is a good habit that you're building. And that showing up isn't scary, right?
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that you do it with other people.
Totally.
Because it can still feel very isolating if you just make the challenge for yourself. And if you're not in a group, don't worry. You can always put it out to your followers and say, hey, I really want to start showing up more for you guys. If any of you want to join in with me, let me know. We're going to be doing it for the whole month of August, and I'll post here every day, and let me know when you post, and we'll like each other's and support each other's. It's about building that community, no matter what your business is, your organization, whatever it is, just build a community wherever you are. It makes everything a little easier. And
Yeah.
I think that goes for things outside of social media too. Like the more you can talk to people about, hey, this weird like entrepreneurship mindset hit. Like I remember my first 10K month, I was so scared to share that with anybody, as I had a lot of money mindset things that I came into entrepreneurship with. And so it felt like bragging, it felt like boasting, it felt like, because I never thought I'd make that much money in a month. Um, and the group that I'm in was really great about helping me reframe that and encouraged me to post about it, to kind of rewrite the dialogue for myself, but also give permission to others to share their wins financially or otherwise. So I think it goes beyond social media if we're talking about mindset more broadly, to really lean on other people and have those supporters, those people in your corner that get it. That you can talk to them about when you hit a wall and you're like, oh, I don't know if I can go past this wall up into the next level. And they're there to help you, cheer you on. Even if they don't know the answers, they're just in your corner like, this is awesome. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we just need that voice outside of our own head, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. It's just not like surrounding yourself with people who support you. Like it cannot be like exaggerated the importance of that. Like it's just, yeah. I was wondering, is there something that you're like marketing wise that you're hoping to do or have been planning to do but haven't done yet because it's a bit scary, and how are you planning to, how could you think about it differently to just do it?
Oh man, this is such a good one because I was literally debating this weekend. A few months ago, I did my first workshop, totally free workshop. I just wanted to see how it went. It was about building your social media presence, which is something I've helped several organizations do. So I was like, okay, let's just see how this goes, see who shows up. It was great. Everyone asked amazing questions. I was so happy I did it. To the point where I was like, okay, maybe this will be like a twice a year, maybe quarterly thing if I really get into it. So I just posted on my social media to get the theme for this month, and it's around branding. And I'm feeling so much more resistance this time to building the presentation and actually scheduling it. People are excited about it. I got a lot of responses and picking the theme, but I can't seem to do it. And I was debating this weekend. I'm like, do I push it back to September? So I think when I start to feel this way, I often encourage myself to just try, to just take, whether it's perfect or imperfect action, to just do. Um, where when we're doing something new or something that feels like imposter syndrome is creeping in, or self-doubt is keep creeping in, um often if we just take the action, we'll get on the other side of it and be like, that was way easier than I thought it was going to be, or that felt way better than I thought it was going to feel. Like, I think our mind just gets in the way sometimes, because we can absolutely do whatever we're like, hey, I want to go there. We can absolutely go there. There is nothing holding us back from going there. But our brain gets in the way sometimes and is like, wait, trying to keep us safe, trying to keep us
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think I'm gonna try and push through and get it out by the end of August. And it just it's just one of those things. This is what I was talking about. It comes in waves. Like I did the other one,
Mhm.
it was fantastic. I was like gung ho on it. I had no reservations. Here comes the wave. I have reservations on this one.
Mhm.
And that's part of entrepreneurship. And so constantly recognizing that in yourself and being like, nope, we've gone from A to B before. We can do it again. It'll be great. Um, and then just pivoting. Sometimes you don't need all the fancy bells and whistles, social media posts, email sequence, update. Like sometimes you just go and do it. And whoever shows up, shows up. Whoever asks questions, and it just is what it is. It might be imperfect to you, but you still did it. And that's amazing.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm trying to give myself permission. Maybe it won't be as bright as and shiny as my social media workshop was, but I'm still going to do it. And that's like the win for me.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing, and that's really exciting. And I'm gonna be checking in. if you,
Yes,
if
hold me
you-
accountable. See, buddy system right here. Hold
yeah.
me accountable. Yeah.
Um,
What about you?
so I think for me it's doing reels or like showing up on video like by myself.
Nice.
Whatever. I haven't thought about it too much, but it's definitely I feel that it's the thing that for whatever reason I should do, although I don't like shoots, but like I feel like I could benefit from it. But it feels really scary because first of all, talking just to myself, like, so I'm afraid that I will forget what I want to say, and that like I ramble and I talk too slow and all these like that. I'm like, there's something wrong with me. So just like you don't do it and you won't do it well enough anyway. So like don't even like bother, and that it's gonna take too long because I'm gonna take like a million takes. So, and I think what's gonna get me out of this hole and actually give it a try is just like what I've learned from the past, that once you just do it once, it's not as scary, and this kind of like a growth mindset that like you also said, like I can go wherever I want, I can do whatever I want, like I'm able to like flex my skills and muscles and grow. And knowing this, I've been reading and kind of learning about the power of the subconscious mind in the last year and like more. And it's been very helpful to understand that, like you also said, that it's often in these situations, when the resistance comes, it's like your mind like trying to keep you safe, like because like the subconscious mind is apparently just mostly focused on keeping you, like if you're like kind of healthy and safe where you are now, like it wants to keep you there, and then anything that's kind of new or well, basically new, or something that it doesn't have this like a blueprint or some sort of like an understanding how it's going to go, it's going to try to stop you at some point. So knowing this, it's been helpful for me to like push through a little bit. But yeah, so videos, reels, something like that, not like dancing necessarily, but just like talking. Yeah.
Yay. Okay, when are you going to post your first one? I'm going to hold
Oh,
you accountable right back. Come on.
okay. by the end of the month, I'm gonna give
Okay.
myself a couple of weeks. Okay, good. So now, my God, this is like, it's gonna be
I
a
know
lot.
now it's real. We just made ourselves accountable to our whole audience. So now we have to do what we said.
Yeah,
See, this is another
well,
mindset trick. Find an accountability buddy. It doesn't have to be a public one, like we're using our audience to hold us
yeah,
accountable, but find an accountability buddy. That helps a
yeah.
lot too.
Cool. Okay, did not plan this, but yeah, sometimes stuff happens exactly like that. Um, yeah. I was thinking or wondering, are there any other ways to look at marketing that like, or like kind of some blogs that you've come across with, like with people you worked with, or kind of, yeah, limiting beliefs or or whatever you want to call them, around like negative thoughts about marketing, and how you could maybe switch it. Do you have any
Oh
example in mind?
gosh. It's a big question, right?
Mm,
Because a lot of people, I think when I first started and I told people I was becoming a copywriter after they learned that it wasn't the legal copywriting, but marketing copywriting, they're like, why do you want to do that? Like, it's all manipulative.
mm,
And I used to think that too. I
yeah.
was always interested in marketing, but I hated how it was manipulating people, right? Just for a dollar. And so I went to law instead because I saw that as more of a righteous path, if you will. Like it helped more people than marketing did, at least when I understood it that way.
Mm,
Um, in learning from Alex Catoni, and her slogan is building the empathy empire, right? I really resonated with how she viewed marketing, which is to identify with people, have conversations and connections with people, to meet them at an empathetic level and talk about the pain that they're experiencing and how you can take them on a journey to heal that pain, to create the dream that they want to see for themselves, whatever that is, in whatever niche you're in. Looking at it from an empathetic, like, I totally understand where you're at right now, and I was there if you were, of course, being ethical, and here's how I made it to the other side. Those sorts of journeys are what kind of changed my mind about marketing. So a lot of that had to do with learning from the Copy Posse and Alex. In relating it to the nonprofit work that I do, it helped me take another perspective on grassroots organizing. Because especially in the vegan movement, and specifically in the US, which I'm sure has been experienced in other countries, but veganism kind of made a splash in main media as being extremist, as being abolitionist. Like, those were the things that made mainstream media headlines first, like the people that were spilling blood on things, blood on things, or showing very graphic videos and getting in people's
mm,
faces, like the aggressive version of nonprofit marketing, which is trying to persuade people to go a different way, right? But when I discovered this more empathetic approach of understanding where someone's at and kind of meeting them where they are, it really gelled with what I enjoyed about law, which was meeting with different stakeholders, getting everyone at the table. And instead of fighting each other, we were talking. Did we always end up in like the perfect utopia scenario? No, never. But the conversations happened. And so learning that marketing could also foster conversations that created change for people, animals, the environment, whatever it was, that was really exciting to me. And that's a major mindset shift that happened for me early on in the pivot, that made me want to pursue this, was
mm,
that it wasn't about manipulating people and bringing them to your side, which I never agreed with, but it was about inclusivity and learning about different perspectives, learning about different people, and how how we can all have conversations about difficult things. Yeah, I think that was my major mindset shift with marketing. What about you?
mm. Yeah, so I definitely share this kind of the initial thoughts around that. It's just like pushy and manipulative, and it's, you know, there's so much greenwashing and human washing and just pushing people stuff that they don't need. But it was one of the reasons why I had to do like massive in a work with myself, like if I can actually pursue copywriting and marketing and kind of find my peace with it and find a new way to look at it. And one of the ways, kind of related to what you were saying, that has helped me a lot is to look at marketing as building relationships and like creating a community, because it's like it keeps saying this, that people buy from people and we connect with other. It's always another human being, like at the end of like whatever it is, social media post or email or like whatever, like conversation with a friend or somebody you haven't met in a long time, or in a networking event, wherever, that you can really look at marketing as just like getting to know people and being like asking questions, like being curious about where people are, and maybe, and that like kind of playing the long game. Not that I think about it like so consciously, but that's how it is. Like I've seen it in my own experience, that sometimes conversations that I have, like very soon, like somebody get back to me with like a work opportunity, or like sometimes it takes like a couple of years, but that it's really connecting with people and building relationships. And also I think on like my favorite like social media post types definitely are ones where there's like storytelling, where I get a peek into the person's like life and what they're doing and why they're doing it, and instead of just like this very polished kind of like 5 tips for this and this. And I mean, those also have their place, but I feel like they really they stay with me, like this more personal storytelling
Yeah,
things.
yeah, absolutely. And I know we're running out of time here, but
Yeah.
I want to hit on something that you said several times and make sure that it's capitalized on, because it's so important when we're talking about mindset, entrepreneurship, marketing, all of these areas, right? Is that becoming an entrepreneur and marketing your own thing, whether you're a freelancer helping other businesses, or you're actually going at it for your own business that's selling a product or a service, it's going to change your mindset. It's going to make you look inward. You're going to change as a person. And that doesn't have to be scary. It might feel scary. Because again, that fear pops up and says, hey, we're already safe. Like, we don't need to do any self-work. We're good. But the growth that you experience by doing your own thing, by like taking ownership of who you are and what you can offer, is incredible. I wouldn't change this journey for anything. I wouldn't change any part about it. Was it always easy? No. But it sure gave my therapist and I a lot to talk about in the beginning. Because you're so spot on. Like, it brings up a lot of things, and we have to believe in ourselves, and it uncovers things that make us not trust ourselves. And you become an amazing person as an entrepreneur if you let it. If you don't give into the fear and you actually embrace your own power and what you can do in this position, like it amazing transformations can happen. And so all that to say, embrace the fear of entrepreneurship and all the unknowns that are out there of which way to go, what's the answer, what do I post, like whatever it is, and see what comes up for you, and give yourself space and permission to experience it all, because you'll be better off in the long run.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I feel like that's a perfect like perfect place to end this conversation. Like that's just hope everybody really listens to that. Wow, thank you. This was such a cool conversation. I hope whoever is listening to this got something useful out of this. If you have any questions for us, or if anything was unclear, or you would love to hear us talk more about something, let us know. Like, we're always love to hear from you and what you think about these topics.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and we will see you next month with a fresh episode.
Yeah.
Till then.
Bye.
Bye.